Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your Sun conjunct with someone's Saturn in Synastry, or vice versa, what it means to have this incredibly karmic binding aspect in the relationship chart comparison. So this one is like the definition of a serious relationship. There is definitely a very serious or almost like formal undertone that can be quite heavy in this relationship when we're seeing these kind of strong conjunctions, especially if it's going in a double whammy, meaning this is going both ways, or a Sun-Saturn aspect is going both ways, whether it's the conjunction or not on the other end, doesn't matter. But when this is a major relationship theme, there's definitely an energy that this is a very karmic, this is a very fated or significant encounter for learning and growth. Now, this one, as opposed to, I talked about the square, which tends to be a lot more difficult. This one can actually be a lot more positive, actually, than you would think a strong Saturn conjunction would be. And the reason for that is that there's a deep level of caring. Specifically, the Saturn person feels very protective of the Sun person, very almost like parental or even fatherly towards the Sun person. And you have to look at the position of their Saturn, like what kind of Saturn they are, because that's the energy that's being given to the Sun person. So like there's certain signs and placements that are going to be more easier on the Sun person. But yeah, the Saturn person, because Saturn is our deepest like karmic lessons and challenges and what's really hard for us, but eventually becomes an area of mastery. Like the placement of our Saturn really says a lot about like what we're really here for as far as karma. So there's an energy of like needing to do that, right? So the Saturn person, through relationship with the Sun person, they feel like enlivened, and like the Sun's light can be very triggering but also very healing for them. It's almost like looking at a child playing and just so like lighthearted and without a care in the world, and the Saturn person just gazes at the Sun person like, wow, to be so young and free. And this can be happening even when the Saturn person is the younger person. So yeah, it's very interesting. And the Sun person can feel like, depending on the nature of the Sun person can feel one of two things. The Sun person can feel inhibited or restricted, or judged or criticized by the Saturn person, or they can feel really cared about, and really like they're able to actually succeed in the energy of their Sun, which the Sun is a huge part of our life purpose and goals and where we're going in life. And the Sun person can really feel that the Saturn person is a helpful asset in getting them towards where they need to go in life. So the Saturn person can actually kind of slow down the Sun person, but in a positive and beneficial way, where the Sun person can really like get some clarity on the actual nature of the sign of their Sun and the house placement and the like what's going on with their natal Sun, and really actually start to express that in a much more integrated way, in a much stronger way, actually. But it does have the effect of slowing it down, so that we can actually, see our Sun more, and maybe like, because every sign has like a positive or negative potential. It's like the Saturn person can show the Sun person where they're maybe not living up to the highest potential of their Sun, where they're maybe being careless or, immature, or lacking in focus and discipline necessary to actually shine as the Sun that they are. Now that all sounds good, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a positive process. This could be a very, very difficult relationship where, you know, the sun feels, yeah, like just constantly not good enough for the Saturn person. And that could be motivating, like for them to become better, or just like they just can't get away from the Saturn person. And but the thing is like the bond with this aspect is like maybe the sun person wants to get away, but they just can't, because both people are so incredibly bonded together. And this can, you know, show up in kind of a dependent way. Like I've actually seen this conjunction take place with parent and child too. So like literally, and sometimes the Saturn person is the actual parent, and then you know, you really feel like you can't get away as the sun person because you literally cannot, like that is your parent, right? Until you know, get older and can maybe move away from them on your own. But yeah, so there is that element of like you cannot get away. It's so binding. Like strong Saturn conjunctions in the Synastry and composite chart can really feel like that, you know, maybe we would rather have a lighter relationship, but we just can't escape the chains of the Saturn bond. Now, it doesn't always have to feel like that. It can feel very supportive and very nourishing to have this conjunction in Synastry because of the growth and the lessons. And yeah, that element of like feeling like this is a fated relationship that is here to help you, you know? So it's definitely significant when you see it. It can draw people together that are, you know, very different in other ways, or maybe like a huge age difference or difference in backgrounds or something, because of like the energy of Saturn is actually like the energy of time too. So even if you are widely different in age or something, when you have this type of bond, you don't really feel like that. You actually feel like, you know, there is an element of like feeling like you're coming from a similar background with this one, even when maybe you're actually not. But it's there's like the sun and Saturn they're both sort of like parental planets. So when they're in conjunction, there is this element of like sameness as far as like sometimes the family upbringing. I mean, sometimes this actually is a parent and child bond, or there's an element of like working together towards some type of goal, like that you actually, because this is a conjunction, you actually are compatible at working together towards your life goals, towards your purpose and your outer achievement, right? The sun and Saturn can be definitely like outward planets. This isn't like the moon and like something internal. This is like can be an external process too. So there is this sense of combining well to actually create outer success. And like, you know, like Capricorn and Saturn, success is not through luck or, you know, like Jupiter's energy of, whoa, we were just in the right place at the right time, and then boom, I just took off. It's not like that. This is the slow and steady work of a lifetime of dedication to the craft or to whatever it is, climbing the ladder, right? So it's more of like that type of success that we see with this aspect. It could be material as well, because, you know, the nature of Saturn grounding the sun onto the material plane. So yeah, you could definitely see this in a business partnership as well, or in a productive relationship where, yeah, like I said, Saturn is honing the sun's energy to be more grounded and actually better in most cases. You'd have to look at, you know, what else is going on. If this aspect or this conjunction is like afflicted by like Pluto squares or Neptune squares, you know, we could have maybe Saturn's wisdom being actually not good for our light and our soul. But, you know, if this aspect has other positive aspects connected to it, like this could be a really helpful relationship towards furthering yourself towards your life goals and purpose. And also, like I titled my Sun Square Saturn Synastry video, Daddy Issues Healing. Like this also does have that element of healing the family upbringing wounding that you've maybe gone through. Like there's definitely like a familial, family, mother, father, daddy issue type healing thing that can happen with this conjunction as well. So there's not really a lot lighthearted about it. It's not like, ooh, super fun Sun Saturn energy. It's more of like a down to business as far as personal growth and outward achievement and like the family stuff that comes up here. But because of this, because of the seriousness of it, people do tend to commit with this type of aspect. It's super common to see like a double whammy Sun Saturn or Moon Saturn or Venus Saturn in a long-term committed relationship, because that's just kind of the serious energy that it contains. And it feels karmic. It feels like, okay, we have a purpose together, like let's do this. And even if it gets tough, we're just gonna keep working at it. And that's kind of the energy of Saturn and why it works in a committed relationship, because like Saturn knows that actual success must withstand the tests of time, and like people tend to want to put in the work to be committed when you have these type of very heavy fateful aspects. So I hope this was helpful. Love you guys. I'm doing your request. This was requested. Let me know in the comments how you experience this aspect or any other requests you might have. And we'll talk soon. Thanks, you guys. Bye.